Have you ever been pulled out of a deep sleep by a leg cramp so sharp it felt like your calf was being twisted from the inside? One second you're sleeping peacefully, and the next you're wide awake, grabbing your leg, waiting for the pain to let go. Most people brush it off as getting older, not drinking enough water, or just one of those things. But sometimes that middle of the night cramp is not as harmless as it seems. Sometimes it's your body sending a quiet warning that your legs are not getting what they need. And the part that worries doctors most is that many people ignore that warning for months, even years, before they realize something deeper is going on. That's what makes this so important. Because when leg cramps start waking you up again and again, your body may be trying to tell you more than you think. It may be about tired muscles, it may be about nerves, it may even be about medication, dehydration, or long hours sitting still. But there's one possibility almost nobody talks about enough, and that's circulation. Not the dramatic, movie style kind of health emergency people imagine, but the slow, sneaky kind that builds quietly over time. The kind that first shows up as heaviness, aching, tingling, cold feet, restless sleep, or that strange feeling that your legs just don't feel like they used to. And if that sounds even a little familiar, stay with me, because what doctors discovered next is even more surprising. Some people spend months treating the cramp itself while completely missing the reason it keeps coming back. They rub the muscle, take a supplement, drink more water, and hope for the best. But the real issue may not be the cramp. The cramp may just be the messenger. And before we go further, if you care about keeping your body strong, independent, and active as the years go by, take a second to like this video and subscribe to Dr. Casey Morgan. Not because it helps an algorithm, but because one small piece of information at the right time can save someone months of pain, fear, and confusion. Now, here's the part that catches many people off guard. Not every nighttime leg cramp means poor circulation. In fact, many do not. That's why this topic gets so confusing. A cramp can come from tired muscles after a busy day, from being low on fluids, from sitting too long, from certain medications, or simply from aging muscles and tendons changing over time. But when circulation is involved, the clues are often there long before anyone connects the dots. Your legs may feel tight or heavy in the evening. Your feet may be colder than the rest of your body. You may notice that walking makes your calves burn sooner than it used to. Or, oddly enough, the pain may show up most when you finally lie down and try to rest. That last part surprises a lot of people. You'd think lying down would help everything relax. But if blood flow to the legs is already struggling, nighttime can become the moment when the body stops compensating as well. During the day, movement helps. Gravity helps in certain ways. You're shifting, walking, adjusting. But at night, the body becomes still, and stillness can reveal problems that daytime movement was hiding. That's why some people say, I'm fine all day, but the minute I get into bed, my legs start acting up. And the biggest mistake most people make is assuming that because the pain comes and goes, it can't be serious. Let me tell you about a situation that may sound familiar. A woman in her late 60s starts waking up around 2 in the morning with a cramp in one calf. At first, it happens once every few weeks. Then it becomes once a week. Then 3 times in 1 week. She starts keeping water by the bed. She changes her shoes. She buys magnesium gummies because someone online swore by them. Some nights are better, but the problem never fully leaves. Then one day, she notices something else. When she walks from the parking lot into the grocery store, her calf feels tight in a way it never did before. She slows down. She rests. It improves. She shrugs it off. But what happened after that is what so many families wish they had recognized earlier. The cramps were never the whole story. They were one clue in a pattern. That pattern matters because circulation problems in the legs don't always begin with a dramatic symptom. Sometimes they begin with subtle inconvenience: the calf that tightens faster, the foot that always feels colder, the skin that looks a little shinier or more pale, the ankle swelling at the end of the day, the leg that feels restless when you lie down, the small sore that takes forever to heal. None of these signs seem frightening on their own, but together they can paint a picture your body has been trying to show you for a long time. So, what exactly is happening? In simple terms, your leg muscles need a steady supply of oxygen rich blood. When that flow is reduced, the muscles can become irritated, overreactive, and more likely to seize up in pain. In some people, the issue is related to artery problems, where narrowed blood vessels make it harder for blood to reach the legs efficiently. In others, the trouble is on the return trip, when blood does not move back up through the veins as smoothly as it should, leading to heaviness, swelling, aching, and discomfort that often gets worse later in the day or at night. Different pathways, different causes, but one shared result: your legs start complaining. And there's one thing almost nobody talks about. Many adults over 45 don't think of circulation unless they're having chest pain or a major scare. They think of leg cramps as a muscle problem, not a blood flow problem. That's why so many people treat the symptom and miss the system behind it. Especially if they've also been told, night cramps are common as you get older. That statement is true, but it can also be dangerously incomplete. Common does not always mean harmless. Common does not mean something should be ignored when it starts changing, getting worse, or coming with other signs. Now, before fear takes over, let's bring in some reassurance. A nighttime leg cramp does not automatically mean you have a serious circulation disorder. That's important. Many people will have occasional cramps and never develop anything more. But what deserves attention is the pattern. Are the cramps becoming more frequent? Are they happening in the same leg over and over? Do you also have numbness, tingling, weakness, cold feet, color changes, swelling, pain when walking, or discomfort that improves when you dangle your legs or move around? Those details matter far more than one random cramp after a long day. This is also why quick fix advice can be so frustrating. Someone says it's potassium, someone else says it's magnesium, someone else says pickle juice. And while hydration and minerals do matter for some people, the truth is much more layered. Certain medications can contribute. Diuretics can shift fluid balance. Some blood pressure medicines, cholesterol medicines, and other prescriptions may play a role in muscle discomfort in some individuals. Long hours of sitting can reduce healthy circulation and stiffen the muscles. Diabetes can affect nerves and blood flow. Smoking damages blood vessels. Even stress and poor sleep can make the body more vulnerable to nighttime muscle spasms. In other words, the cramp may look simple, but the reason behind it often is not. And this is where people start to turn things around, not by panicking, but by paying attention. The first helpful question is not, how do I stop this cramp right now? The first helpful question is, why is this happening to me now? That shift changes everything. Because once you start noticing patterns, you stop feeling helpless. You start gathering clues. Does it happen after inactive days? After salty meals? After sitting too long watching television? When you forget to drink enough water? When your feet are colder than usual? When your walking tolerance has gotten worse? These observations can be incredibly valuable when you speak with a doctor. Now, let's talk about what you can do tonight, because when a cramp hits at 2 in the morning, theory is not enough. The safest immediate move for many calf cramps is to gently stretch the muscle. Pull your toes up toward your shin if you can. Stand carefully and put weight on the leg if it feels safe. Massage the muscle slowly. Some people find warmth helps relax the area. Others prefer a cool pack after the spasm eases. But here's the detail many miss. Once the pain passes, don't just roll over and forget it. Ask yourself what your leg has been trying to tell you. One painful minute in the night may be connected to habits, circulation, or health changes building for months. What doctors often recommend for prevention sounds almost too simple, which is why people underestimate it. Gentle calf stretching before bed can help. So can brief ankle circles, heel raises while holding a chair, and regular walking during the day. Not marathon walking, just consistent movement. Your circulation loves movement. Your muscles love movement. Your veins depend on movement. Even standing up every hour if you sit a lot can make a difference. The body was designed for motion, and when it stays still too long, little problems begin to grow in the background. Hydration matters too, but not in the exaggerated way social media often presents it. You do not need to obsess. You just need to stop letting your body run dry day after day. As we get older, many of us do not feel thirst as clearly as we used to. Some adults intentionally drink less because they don't want to wake up at night to use the bathroom. That's understandable, but it can backfire. Muscles become less forgiving. The body becomes less flexible. The nighttime cramp becomes more likely. And then the sleep loss creates a whole new layer of exhaustion, irritability, and worry. But what happened after researchers looked more closely at recurring leg pain was even more eye opening. In some people, the cramp is not really the first symptom. It only feels like the first symptom because the earlier clues were so easy to dismiss. Maybe the person had been walking slower for months. Maybe they had started avoiding stairs without realizing why. Maybe they felt their legs were aging faster than the rest of them. Maybe they thought the heaviness in the evening was just normal. The body often whispers before it shouts. The problem is that most of us are taught to wait for shouting. So, when should you stop brushing it off and actually bring it up with a healthcare professional? If your cramps are frequent, worsening, or happening with walking pain, swelling, cold feet, numbness, skin color changes, or wounds that heal slowly, it's time. If one leg is much worse than the other, time. If you have diabetes, a smoking history, high blood pressure, or high cholesterol, and your legs are changing, definitely time. And if pain wakes you from sleep regularly or happens even when you're resting, that deserves attention too. Not because you should assume the worst, but because catching circulation problems earlier can help protect your mobility, comfort, and independence. There's another side to this story, and it's a hopeful one. Many people improve once they stop treating every cramp as random bad luck and start supporting the system behind it. They move more often, they stretch before bed, they review medications with their doctor, they wear better shoes. They manage blood sugar and blood pressure more carefully. They stop smoking. They take short walks after dinner instead of heading straight for the couch. They learn what their body responds to. And over time, the nights become quieter, not because of one magic trick, but because the body is finally getting more of what it has been asking for. And there's one more caution that matters. If you've heard that compression socks are the answer for every circulation problem, be careful with self diagnosing. Some people benefit from them, especially when vein issues and swelling are involved. But if arterial blood flow is reduced, you don't want to guess. This is why getting the right evaluation matters. The right help depends on the right cause. That's true for almost everything in health, and leg cramps are no exception. If this topic feels personal, That's because it is personal for millions of people. Sleep is sacred, especially as we get older. A painful, jarring cramp in the dark does more than hurt your leg. It steals your sense of ease. It makes bedtime feel uncertain. It makes people dread going to sleep. It chips away at energy, patience, and confidence. So, if this has been happening to you, please hear this clearly. You are not overreacting, and you are not weak. Your body is giving you information. The goal is not fear, the goal is understanding. Tonight, if you can, do one simple thing before bed. Sit at the edge of the bed and gently stretch your calves. Roll your ankles. Take a few slow breaths. Think about how much movement your legs got today. Think about whether this has become a pattern. And if something in your gut says this is changing, listen to that feeling. Sometimes the most powerful health decision is not dramatic at all. Sometimes it's simply deciding not to ignore the signal anymore. If leg cramps have ever woken you up at night, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Do they happen in your calves, your feet, or your thighs? Have you noticed they come after sitting too long, walking more than usual, or on nights when your feet feel cold? Your story may help someone else realize they're not alone. And if this video made you think of a parent, spouse, sibling, or friend who keeps complaining about nighttime leg pain but keeps brushing it off, please share this with them. It may be the gentle wake-up call they need. Your legs carry you through your life. They carry you through grocery store aisles, family visits, doctor appointments, gardens, kitchens, church steps, airport terminals, and all the ordinary places where life quietly happens. So when they start speaking up in the middle of the night, don't just silence them. Listen, because sometimes a cramp is just a cramp, but sometimes your circulation is asking for help, and the sooner you answer, the more of your strength, comfort, and freedom you may be able to keep.